The Naughtiest Fairy, written and illustrated by Nick Ward. "Oh, good!" thought the Naughtiest Ever Fairy, as a fat little envelope popped through her letterbox. "Perhaps someone has sent me a present!" But it wasn't a present. It was a letter from all her neighbors, and this is what it said. "Dear Naughty Fairy, stop being so naughty. We've had enough of being turned into toads and trolls and wobbly jellies. If you don't stop your naughty tricks, we will drum you out of town. Lots of love from your friends, Giant, Big Bad Wolf, the Butcher, the Baker, the Boiled Sweet Maker, and the Three Little Pigs, and the Lord Mayor." "Oops!" thought the Naughtiest Ever Fairy. She didn't fancy being drummed out of town, so she decided to be a well-behaved little fairy, starting straight away. The very noisy giant was busy crushing about, spring cleaning in his castle, when the well-behaved naughty fairy arrived. "I can help you with that," she shouted above the din. "No!" cried the noisy giant. "I know your naughty tricks." "Don't worry, I'm a well-behaved naughty fairy." She smiled sweetly and waved her magic wand. But although the naughty fairy tried to be good, her magic was determined to be especially naughty, and almost at once things started to go wrong. Kazam! Paintbrushes whizzed through the air, slushing paint over the walls, the windows, and Giant as well. The vacuum sucked up the rubbish, the rugs, and just about everything else. Soon it was full. It exploded in a cloud of dust. "Sorry," said the good naughty fairy, and quickly flew off to help somebody else. The big bad wolf was trying to huff and puff a house down. "Oh, please let me help," volunteered the good naughty fairy, and summoned up a wind so strong it blew the wolf's clothes right off and sent the house spinning across the valley and far out to sea. "Help!" shouted the three little pigs who were still in the house. "Don't worry, I'm coming!" cried the naughty fairy, but on the way she met someone else who needed her help. The Boiled Sweet Maker lived at the top of the steep hill, and he was mixing a huge pot of sweet-smelling candy when the naughty fairy passed by. "Don't interrupt me now," puffed the candy man. "I have to finish all the sweets for the mayor's very important procession." "Oh, let me help!" cried the well-behaved naughty fairy, and before the sweet maker could shout "No!" she had waved her magic wand. Kazam! The pot began to rattle and shake, and whoosh! The gooey mixture erupted out of the pot, spilling across the floor. "Stop it!" cried the sweet maker as the sticky mess bubbled out of the door and down the hill. But the well-behaved naughty fairy had already gone. All the way down the hill, town folks were getting stuck in the mucky mess. The mayor's important procession had been brought to a standstill up to their knees in toffee. "I might have known it was you!" yelled the mayor, shaking his fist as the naughty fairy flew by. Soon the naughty fairy came upon the bold and roaring lion, who was the king of the jungle. He was having a royal nap. "Ah, he's sleeping like a baby," said the helpful fairy. "I'll just make him a little more comfortable." She waved her magic wand and Kazam! The mighty king of the jungle awoke to find himself dressed in a baby's bonnet and nappy, rocking in a cradle. "How embarrassing!" he roared. "Just you wait!" By now, The naughty fairy had flown out to sea to help the three little pigs whose house was still bobbing about on the waves. "Fairy to the rescue!" she cried, waving her magic wand. Kazam! A huge and hungry whale arched out of the sea and gobbled up the pigs and their house in one mouthful. Up through the clouds it swam, turning and somersaulting and emitting polite little burps. A house is a substantial meal after all, even for an enormous whale. "Come back!" called the good naughty fairy, waving her magic wand. Kaplash! The whale belly flopped into the village pond. "Oof!" gasped the whale as the little pig's house shot out of his mouth. "Yippee!" Pond water and pond life rained down on the town. Mrs. Munchet, the school teacher, was covered in slime and weeds and frog spawn. The baker's magnificent cake for the mayor's procession was dredged in pond water, and the last of the fiery dragon's fiery breath was snuffed out in the downpour. "This is one of the naughty fairy's tricks," they spluttered. "Oh no!" cried the well-behaved naughty fairy, desperately waving her magic wand as it rained frogs and newts. But pop! Her naughty magic turned one of the frogs into her naughty new friend, who was delighted to see the mess the naughtiest ever fairy had made. All the townspeople marched up to the well-behaved naughty fairy. What a state! They were covered in slime and toffee and duckweed. The naughty fairy couldn't help but giggle. "Are you responsible of this shambles?" demanded the mayor. "It's not my fault," complained the well-behaved naughty fairy. "I've been good, but my magic was naughty." "Tidy this mess up," ordered Mrs. Munchet. "And no magic, or I'll turn you into a sausage," added the naughty new friend. Ignoring the naughty new friend, the well-behaved naughty fairy waved her magic wand to start the big tidy up. But kapow! In future, I'm going to stay naughty. It's safer. Read about the wonderful mayhem caused when the naughtiest ever fairy decides it's time to be nice.